All right, so it's Thursday. I'm taking my flight to Washington, D.C. tomorrow to pick up some people. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the pre-flight planning because it's going to be an interesting flight. Okay, so if you look at my screen here on the right side, so this is the airport that I'm taking out of. It's out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. On the right side over here, we've got the weather currently. So it's IFR. We've got a lot of rain going through right now. It's pretty bad outside. If I go over here to the TAF, this is basically the weather forecast for the next few hours. Let's see, 9 a.m. is when I'm leaving tomorrow, so it's supposed to be IFR. The wind is going to be out of 210 at 7 knots, which is roughly about 10 miles an hour. Visibility is 3 miles, and then the clouds are going to be at 600 AGL. So that just means 600 feet off the ground. So I'll definitely get some good IFR footage for this flight. So that's what it's going to be like taking off out of here. Now, this is where I'm going all the way up here in DC. We are going to Manassas Regional. So let's look at the weather there. When I land, it'll be around 12 p.m. So again, IFR, wind is coming from 110 at 18, gusting 31 knots. So that's a little bit bigger. The visibility is going to be 4 miles, and then it says overcast at 500. This is where we're going to get a little sketchy. Landing with lower ceilings is a lot harder than taking off with low ceilings. So as long as those clouds don't get a whole lot lower, we shouldn't run into any problems. We should be able to land here just fine, and then hopefully get out and get back. Overall, it's going to be an interesting flight. There's going to be a lot of IFR, a lot of flying through clouds, a lot of not being able to see. So I'm going to have to trust my instruments and make sure that I'm paying attention and be a little bit more on my game than I normally would, just to make sure that we get through all this safely. So that is the pre-flight planning. Let me show you guys what it looks like on the radar right now. Turn this radar on. So this is all of the weather that's coming through. Most of this is going to go ahead and pass on, but we are going to run into a little bit of it tomorrow, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going over the weather. I filed my flight plan for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and that's about it. All right, so it's the morning of the flight. Things are looking slightly better. So let's go fly. Okay, so before I go into the approach in the next video, I wanted to show you guys something. So on my screen here, I've got the approach plate for Manassas Airport. This is basically the instructions that we use on how to land when you can't really see around you, so very important. Up here, we've got all the information about the approach plate. It's got the name of the airport, it's got the location of it, and then here we've got our weather, which is important. Obviously, I need to know the weather. We've got our approach frequency, which is who I'm going to be talking to as I'm coming into the area. We've got our tower frequency, which is who I'm going to be talking to when I'm coming into land. And then our ground frequency, which is who I talk to when I'm on the ground. Over here, we've got the final approach course. This is basically what it's saying is when I get out of the clouds and I'm heading towards the runway, that is the heading that I need to go to be able to get to the runway. Simple enough. And then Dorji, this is going to come into play later, and I'll explain it a little bit more. 2,200 feet is what it says. This is where the video starts. I'm at 2,200 feet. And then LPV, so this right here, it says 442 feet. What this is that's the lowest I can go on my altimeter before I have to go around. So if I don't see the airport at that point, I got to go around, and that's only 250 feet above the ground. And I'll explain why there's a difference there in another video. We don't really need to go over a whole lot of this. It's important to me, but not really for you guys. I'll explain it later. So this is an overview of the actual approach itself. You see I come from Sav, and I go east over to Gigi, and then I go to Dungi, and over to Dorj, which is what I showed you earlier. So at that point, I'm at 2,200 feet, and then it's all downhill from there. And then I go all the way down to the runway over here. Here's a horizontal picture of it. That way you can visualize it a little bit better. So here I'm at Dorji at that 2,200, and then it slopes all the way down. I continue descending till I'm at the runway. So that's all I'm gonna show you guys there. Before I show you the video, I want to say just one more time, I am all about safety on my channel and in real life, so this approach is not something that any sort of beginner instrument pilot should ever do. These are pretty tough conditions. There was low visibility, there was a direct crosswind that was pretty high, and the ceilings were really low, the clouds were really low. If you're not comfortable with these conditions, this is not an approach that you should ever try. Over the years, I have gotten a lot more comfortable with these types of positions, which allowed me to safely make this flight, and everything turned out okay. But if you don't have experience with this and you're not comfortable with these conditions, this is the kind of landing that can go really bad and put you in a really bad situation. So most of you probably don't even fly, so it's not even that big of a deal. But if you do, don't try this if you don't know what you're doing, is what I'm saying. All right, here's the video. All right, so we made it through that. I got one of the cars from the airport that they give to pilots when they come in, and I'm going to meet my boss at the Air and Space Museum, so I'll get some good stuff there. I'm super excited. I love that museum. I love planes, if you couldn't tell. So I'll see you guys there. that's going to be the end of this Pure Planes video. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.